I couldn't help but notice when I was reading the physical description of the romantic interest in the book that she reminded me of your wife, Irene, who I know. When you described her, there were things when you talked about the expressive eyes and the intelligence and the dark hair. But when you've told me now the background of it, I'm not sure you knew Irene at the time.
I did know her, but
Aha!
any similarity, though, I must say here was coincidental. I wasn't thinking of that, and in fact, I wanted to make sure that there weren't personal references to anyone in my family. The names, though, all have a significance. Every name is a takeoff. Some of them are quite abstract, but once the people realize that they have been named, they understand the connection. But I wanted to make sure that no one would accuse me of being autobiographical in the book for very obvious reasons, and I wanted to avoid that. I've been asked that question, and of course I shudder to think that that is true. But on the other hand, you pull in your
Mm-hmm.
experiences from all over, and certainly it includes some of the experiences that I had in practice, particularly when I was practicing criminal law. Some of my experiences growing up in rural Saskatchewan, some of my experiences in dealing with nature organizations and my interest in protecting the environment, and some of my experiences with the medical
Mm-hmm.
profession in connection with the legal work that I've done for the medical profession. And so obviously those experiences are mirrored in some way, but I didn't want it written in such a way that any particular individual would be singled out in any way.
I didn't mean it that your character, the female
Yes,
character, would be Janice, would be like your wife. But I just thought in the physical description of the
yes,
woman you obviously found attractive, I thought it was interesting,
yes.
maybe fortuitous in some ways. But Doug, on the legal issues, you make some pretty clear background commentary about your feelings. Let's talk about some of them. One about the judge and jury system used in criminal law. You don't have a lot of faith in it.
I really don't. I think that we have all been brought up talking about the jury system being one of the glories of the English common law. I don't believe it for a moment. I think that our law is now so complicated that a jury cannot understand what the legal issues are. And in practice, it doesn't work well. What really shocks and disturbs me is the number of improper convictions for murder in Canada, and the number seems to mount day by day. Now, if there are that many for murder, where enormous attention is given by the courts to protecting the rights of the innocent, and we have a sweeping charter of rights and freedoms which is supposed to protect individuals. When you couple that with the number of bad convictions for murder, you then wonder how many convictions there are for other offenses which are improper when not nearly the same amount of care and attention is given. I don't think it's a good system. I think the civil law system is far better, but somehow we've got this notion that there's something wrong with requiring an accused to give an explanation. Other countries don't see it that way, and their record of success in the sense of convicting the right people and acquitting the right people is much greater. I think that in our system we acquit far too many guilty people and we convict far too many innocent people. And I think that's a matter of concern. How we will ever get around that or deal with it, I have no idea because it's now enshrined in the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Fortunately, fewer and fewer lawyers are now opting for jury trials where there's a right of election. but there are some cases where a lawyer naturally opts for it, where the client is, I think, clearly legally guilty, but may have some chance before a jury. But I think the reverse happens more often. It's also an enormously expensive process. It's enormously time consuming. And I think we should re-examine the whole basis of that system, although there really isn't much chance of that happening in the foreseeable future.